Welcome to Promote, Profit, Publish. I'm your host, Juliette Clark, and today we have another guest who's having a big event coming up in Las Vegas in November of this year, so stay tuned for that. And before we get started, I just want to remind you about our free monthly trainings. October's event is going to be with Rebecca Bertoldi on October 3rd, and we're going to talk about author funnels. I know you guys don't like to build the marketing on this, but all of you need it to build your audience. Part of your author platform is building those funnels that will attract readers when you do launch your book, and beyond that, when you launch products and services. And secondly, our other is, again, with Rebecca Bertoldi. We have a monthly Go High Level training that we do, and Rebecca does that every month. If you're not somebody who's using Go High Level, you definitely should be. It is the best all-in-one program out there. And we love doing these trainings because I happen to know that when you're an author, sometimes tech is not in your wheelhouse. So it's great to learn. The system is easy to learn, and it has so many amazing features. That will be on October 16th. And this time we're going to go over surveys, forms, and quizzes. So you can sign up for that at ghlmonthly.com. And on the October training, you can sign up for that at bamagtraining.com. So hope to see all of you guys there. Today's guest is Melody Owen, the founder of Author Nation and a nonfiction book strategist for experts, speakers, and entrepreneurs who want their book to actually grow their business. So yes, she is a competitor, but you know what? There's room for all of us in this field. Melody has worked with doctors, Olympians, and industry leaders to help them translate their complex knowledge into books that are not just readable, but profitable. She specializes in turning books into business assets that attract the right clients at the right stages of readiness. In today's conversation, she's breaking down the three types of buyer your book could be speaking to: DIY, DIW, and DIF, and how to expand your offers to meet them where they are at. If you're a published book, but you're not seeing the ROI you're expected, this episode is for you. So stay tuned for Melanie. Melody, welcome to the show. It's great to have you.
Hey, thank you so much. I'm thrilled to be here, Juliette.
Well, tell us a little bit about Author Nation, because you have this huge event every year, and I'd love to know, what inspired you to create that?
I love this question because there are two Author Nations. Oh, that's the other Author Nation. And this is so funny because I started Author Nation years ago. And the people who ran the Author Nation event, they were under a different name entirely. And so I was in Author Nation, and then they decided to change name, and for some reason they chose Author Nation. I guess they didn't realize there was two of us. So I messaged them and said, hey, guess what? And so now we chit chat and we're good friends. But it's just funny. So I'm a slightly different than they are. And so I don't know who's been around longer, but I've been around longer under the name Author Nation. They were under a different name previously, and I've heard fabulous things about them. So if you're out there and you're thinking of going to a conference, go to that one. It is spectacular. But they changed their name to my name for some reason. I'm not sure why. My Author Nation, on the other hand, is a little different. We are a community specifically for nonfiction authors, and we offer support from the very seed of an idea right through to writing the book, publishing the book, promoting the book, and profiting from the book. Now, I don't do everything. I partner with people. So my talent lies in getting that seed of an idea into that edited book, and then helping them tie that into the promotion, because so I'm a developmental editor. The most important thing people need to do is, before they write the book, understand why they're doing it, who they're helping, how they're helping them, and how they're going to promote and profit from the book before they write a single word. Now, I don't do publishing. I send people to you, to other people who, when it's time to publish, I partner with people. You're a fabulous partner for that. And so that's, and then we can both work with people to, get that promotion and the profitability going based on what their goals were at the beginning. So that's really what Author Nation does. And I work with big thinkers. I work with medical professionals, data scientists, college professors, entrepreneurs, lots of people who have these fabulous ideas, and they're like, how do I put that all into a book, one book? That's really what I do.
Yeah, and that can be difficult sometimes because they wanted everything in that book, and you can only handle so much when you're reading. But that brings me to my next question. We're talking a little bit about marketing, but even when you're writing the book, like people buy the book. I know that from my own Author Success Handbook. And if you don't limit the amount of what needs to be executed in that book, people will read it, they won't do anything. And that brings you into the next session, which is, or the next segment, which is courses. You know, people aren't, then they have, you know, you're giving them a reason to take the course as well. So can you talk a little bit about that marketing trail? Because people don't plan. I find authors don't plan in advance. When they get to me, they don't have anything built. None of that platform is built. And that's a recipe for disaster.
Exactly. And that's why I like to partner with you, right? Because that way you are really focusing on what you do well, but you need them to come to you with something that's workable in the first place. And that's not just a book. That's actually what I want my career, my business, my brand to look like as an author. And what I often say to people is, you know, so people always want to put everything in the book. And what I say to that is, you know, you don't need to write a 1,000-page book. That's not what we're looking for. Try for 30,000, maybe up to 60,000, depending on the topic words. But what you do want to do is you want to figure out what's the right content for the book. And to know that, you need to know what will come next. So there are some people, and I like to divide people into three: the do-it-yourselfers, the do-it-with-yous, and the do-it-for-yous. Your book is for the do-it-yourselfers. There are a whole group of people who will never buy anything else but a book. And they'll read, and unfortunately, a lot of do-it-yourselfers will read 100 books and have all this knowledge, and they'll actually do nothing. Then there's another group of do-it-yourselfers who will read one book at a time. They'll understand the actions they need to take. They'll execute those actions, and then they'll go on to the next book. So as an author, you want to be really careful. You know, what are you putting in the book? You don't want to put so much in there that nobody can act on it, but you do want to give them enough to get going as well. And so if you have a do-it-yourselfer, if one of your readers is a do-it-yourselfer, they're not going to move on to something else. Although they may want the workbook, they may want the templates, right? They may want other pieces that help them do it by themselves. So what you want for them is you want all the pieces. You want a do-it-yourself kit, which is not just the book. It's the book, the workbook, the template, the checklist, all of that bit. So if they love the book and they love the actions and they want it to themselves, they can go to your website. They can get it, the do-it-yourself kit. You don't call it that, but that's what it is, right? They get that kit, and you can bundle all of this into one. So they've bought let's say an ebook at $9.99. They're so excited. They see that they can go to your website and buy something else. They buy that for $97. And that's all they're ever going to do. They're going to run with it. They're going to do it, and they're going to be excited about it. Those are your do-it-yourselfers, Juliet.
Mm-hmm. So can I stop that for a minute? The do-it-yourselfers. I always tell my people, I love the story brand model where they have to go opt in for it. So now you're list building, you're giving them the tools. But the reality is probably 90% of those people will read the book, they'll put it down, they'll never execute. So you have to have that expectation when you write the book that you have to understand this is, and I hate that thing like for everybody, but not everybody who buys the book will execute on what's in it. In fact, most people won't. So the toolkit is a really cool idea, and you can do that with the opt-in as well.
Yes, exactly. You can have one piece of the toolkit that is the opt-in. You develop a relationship, and as you go, there can be other products and services that they can buy that will help them do it themselves.
Yeah.
So,
yes.
Yeah. And I use that model. So I have, as an example, I have a store, and the things that you can get in my community by subscription are also sold one-off in the store. If you don't want everything, that's fine. There's this. You can do that piece yourself.
Yes.
And that way Go ahead. That way I'm satisfying the needs of the do-it-yourselfers.
Yes. And if you're someone like me, when I go buy that do-it-yourselfer, because I am motivated to do it, I will actually just buy one course at a time because I set aside an hour each morning to work the course. And so, you have to break it up too, so that it is remembering that your audience is probably not able to sit in front of a computer all day for 8 hours. They've got clients, especially your nonfiction. They've got clients, they've got a business to run. So you have to break it down in a way that it is consumable. So I would be one of those people that buys it one at a time and then works it one at a time.
Exactly. But there might also be areas in your life, Juliet, where you're not a do-it-yourselfer, right? It might be that it's like, look, I'll do it myself for marketing and technology, but I'm not cleaning my own house, for example, like
My mind, you read my mind.
So we are all do-it-yourselfers. We are all do-it-withers. We are all do-it-for-me's. We fall into each category in different pieces of your life. I'm a very self-motivated person. I can do a lot do-it-yourself, but when I started my YouTube channel, I hired somebody to do it with me. Because I thought, I've seen a lot of people stumble through their YouTube channels and not get what they want quickly and not really understand how, like, the goals, what goals are good. And so I hired someone to do it with me, even though I am often a do-it-yourselfer. So it depends on the topic. It depends on the person. There's so many pieces, which is why I say to authors, have something for everyone at each level, because that way you get to serve everyone. That you can't serve everyone. No, you can't. But you're going to serve a lot more people if you understand the needs of each type of person who is coming to you.
Yes. And I love that model, because when you do that with you, you actually learn it. And I feel like those people who have the done for you, if something goes wrong with that done for you, their sense is, I'm going to throw the baby out with the bathwater. And we have to start from scratch because they didn't do the done with you and understand how to fix, how to adjust. And marketing is a guess a lot of times. So it's trial and error. And if you don't know how to fix it, you may be in big trouble and spending too much money.
Exactly. So again, do it for you is great for house cleaning, but it wouldn't be good for YouTube, because you, as the business owner, you need to understand YouTube enough that even if somebody else is doing it for you, you can make the good decisions. You're not relying on someone who may or may not understand your business fully, right? It can be more of a do it with you in that case.
Yeah, and the other reason I encourage my clients to do it with you is because if you're delegating to a VA, and I had this happen at the beginning of my business, is I was getting these huge bills, and I sat down one day and I did it myself. And I went back to her and I said, why does it take me an hour and it takes you 5 hours every week? You're the expert here. It should be flip-flopped. And I got rid of her. But that's another reason you should, because you may be spending money that you don't need to spend because your person's inefficient and you haven't been delegating properly because you don't know exactly what to delegate.
Yes, for everyone who works with me, I do training videos. And so they can always refer. I have training videos, I have checklists, I just, like, for everyone who works with me. And so they track what they do and they track how long it takes them. So when someone new comes on, I know, they're not efficient. Can the training help them? And then, so anyway, we're side swiping just a little bit. Let's talk about do it with, because I think do it with is probably the most important piece. A lot of people are saying, they're like, I just want to write the book and be done with it. Or a lot of people say, I want to write the book and get that one-on-one client, the do it for you. But often you get fewer of those. So the do it with you, as you say, some people really should be doing it with you because they're learning as they go. So you have masterminds, you have group coaching, you have courses that have the instructor available. So a course with no instructor available is what I would call a do-it-yourself course. But a course with instructor available would be a do-it-with-you course. So you have this subset of things that are do-it-with-you. Coaching, usually group coaching, courses with instructor availability. I have a community, so we have my clients, it's very much a do-it-with-you. We have writing sessions every Monday. I do trainings every month. There's a section in the community for Q&A. Just last week, somebody put a 30-second spiel about their book in the community, and others can come and say, I like this, don't like this, have you tried this? And so that's really a do it with you situation. And that actually, as you said, works for a large segment of the population because they get the hand-holding, they get the accountability, they get all those really important pieces they often need without that huge high-ticket price tag. And so that is often, depending on the industry, of course, but in many industries, that do it with you is the sweet spot.
Yes, and what I love about when I do the do it with me with you with my clients, sure I can speak. It gives me the opportunity to meet them where they're at, because just because they're purchasing the course, some people are ahead, some people are behind. So we actually use that model when we do these intensive 1 month workshops, and it's always a group session a week and then a one-on-one session to address where you need help. So you have to really finagle that so it's not one size fits all, because you're not going to get people through the program if it's one size fits all.
And that's the beauty of do it with you done well, because you do what I do. So I have a system that courses, resources. I have like game boards where people can you want to like tick off the I did this, I have badges, I have all these fun things, but I'm not expecting everyone to win the same badge at the same time. Right. We're not all finishing our first draft at the same time. We're not all finishing our second edit at the same time. And so although the system has a flow that everyone moves through, it's always rejigged for that one person where they are, because you do want to meet them where they are. And that's the beauty of do it with you. Do it with you, because if they're doing it themselves, you really don't know where they are, and your materials could be over their head or too easy, and it's really hard to judge that. You just have to kind of put something out there, and if it works for you, great. If it doesn't, right? Whereas do it with you, you have a lot more power as the provider, as the service person, to actually serve well, right? Yes. And that makes sense. So group programs, right? And so when you do it with you in publishing, how does that work?
So first of all, our publishing is very different, because once you sign, if you sign, when you think about writing that book, you're going to get all that platform coaching, and people don't get that. Usually they come to me after the book is there, and we still have weekly coaching calls, but then we don't really have time to go back into all of the other things. Beautiful. So that's a great question. I would love to be able to get authors to the point where when they hire someone like you, they hire me at the same time. And a lot of times they're always gun shy, like, what if I don't finish the book? What if? But the beauty of platform building is, even if you never finish that book, your marketing is going to be so much better, because you just built a platform for lead generation, for course, all of that. You just built the same platform for it.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Yeah.
And when you write a book, I love that you're saying this, because the beauty of all of this is when you're writing a book, often you're not just writing the book. Because, for example, I had a client, and she has so many principles, and she's about a third of the way in, and she's like, well, I'm kind of a third of the way in, I've got like 60,000 words. I'm like, lady.
Third of the way in with 60,000 words.
Let's look at this, right? But she has courses. She's just so much potential. And so I said to her, it's okay that you're writing all this down. This is great. We're going to pull out parts, and we're going to turn parts into social media posts, blog posts, courses, masterminds, coaching programs, right? Like, it's okay that you're documenting everything, but don't believe that everything will end up in the book. So if you want to take this time to document everything, and along the way, she's built a website, all of that is happening. She's now working on her Instagram, and that's wonderful, right? Mm-hmm. Because a lot of people, because her first she's like, I've wasted all this time writing all this down. I said, no, you haven't. Oh, you are, after 30 years, you're documenting everything you know. This is intellectual property. This is an asset. And this asset is going to turn into a book asset, a course asset. These are all assets. And you could literally sell your business later because you've documented everything. And so when you're writing a book, it can easily become something that after 20, 30 years, it actually brings everything you've done and learned and can do to the forefront. And instead of just writing a book, you literally build out this brand new business from everything you've done. And that's what you're talking about, the platform, right?
Yeah, and this is so key because when I sign people, I'm probably the worst salesman on the planet because I will tell the authors, and this is true, I will tell the authors, I want you to understand that you're not going to get ROI from this publishing package. The chances of you covering the cost of this with book sales at $2 to $3 a book is pretty much nil. So it's advantageous for you to have that next up level, that upsell in place where they can go from the book or even straight into the course. That's your big ticket item. So if you can have that ready at the same time and maybe even do something where you sell the book and do the, for one time only, get module 1 of this course that goes with the book. That's where the sweet spot is in understanding that. That's why that platform, everything you just said, is so important because we are building out something bigger at the same time as the book.
Exactly. And that can come with a do it with, or it can be a do it for, right? Yeah. So for you, my guess is you're not teaching people how to actually build a website. You have someone on your team who does that for them. So you have, it sounds to me that you have a bit of a do it with you. We're going to work with you to build out the courses, and you are the knowledge expert, but we will do for you these things because the one thing you don't want to learn is how to build a website. That's actually not a skill you need, right?
Yes, right.
I need to know, how to fix my YouTube if it's not going well, but I don't need to know how to build my website, right?
So exactly.
There's your do it for you products and services for you.
Now, we do teach people how to create the courses in a way that they're consumable because, again, it's a big knowledge dump. I had someone several years ago bring me a 35-hour sales course to go with the book. And I said, no bueno, I opened it up. He asked my opinion and I was like, I can't even get past the first module. So we do teach them the best practices of how to put those courses together, especially those DIY where people are putting them in pieces. But yeah, that's something we can teach, but you're right. No, I don't need to build your website. I'll write copy for it because I used to be a copywriter, but I am not building, I'm not going to sit there and do the tech.
Yeah, somebody else is going to do that for us.
Right.
That's a different thing. Absolutely. And that's another great example of, what can the author do? What do they need help doing? And what are we just going to do for them? And if, as an author, if you can offer all of those pieces, especially if you can understand what skills or knowledge land in each one naturally, that can be a real help in building out your author brand and building out all the products and services. So I differentiate between promoting your book and profiting from your book. Those are two very different things in my mind. So when I talk to authors, like, what do you want to do? They're like, oh, I want to sell my book. Great. So you want to promote your book? Yes. Okay. Do you want to profit from it? Yes. Okay. So we need to talk past promotion because promoting your book, that's great. I'm not saying don't do it, but if you want to profit from your book, we need to look at the brand as a whole. And we need to look at all of your offerings because that's where profitability is built in. Mm-hmm. And so I differentiate profiting and promoting because I think they're different things. And I separate them because it helps authors understand. I'm like, if you have a product, you promote it. If you have an asset, you profit from it.
Right.
So is your book a product you're going to promote, or is it a business asset that you're going to profit from? And those are different things. And that's how I differentiate it for authors, because I find that when you say it that way, then people are like, I get it. Because we're told books are products. You go to the bookstore, you buy a book, you read a book, done. It's a product, but it doesn't have to be.
Nice. Very nice. And it's amazing. We just had a finance person on, somebody who comes in and renovates your finances, your financials. And she was saying a lot of the same thing. A lot of times we treat that in a way that doesn't actually bring us profit as a business. We go out and we promote certain things and it's not really the thing we should be promoting on that end, or should we be promoting it all? And that's one of the things about platform building. If you build that platform, you don't have all of the marketing and promotion. You do have some. I'm not saying you don't. You still have to do it, but you're not going to be hiring the PR person that's going to cost you, $5,000 a month. You don't need that if you build a platform, because you already have an engaged audience.
Exactly. Yes. If you have a platform and you're inviting them to, I call it your castle. If you have a castle, you invite people to your castle. If you don't have a castle, so Facebook is a different castle, right? And TikTok, that's somebody else owns that castle, right? So you can go to that castle and you can go to their ballroom and you can dance, but when you leave, you're leaving alone.
Oh my gosh.
Right? But if you build your own castle, you get to invite everyone to your castle and you can throw balls the way you want them, and people are going to love it and they're going to stay. And that's how you build a business, by building your own castle.
There you go. You could be Cinderella and get the prince, or you could get the Wicked Witch of the West. Why do I have so much? She's melting earlier. Why do I have so much Wizard of Oz today?
Earlier before we started, I was saying it's really hot here. If I melt during the call, just Melody slowly melts. But it's a silly analogy, but people get it. It's like, okay. Because people often say, like, what's your platform? Instagram. I'm like, that is not your platform. That's somebody else's platform. So it's like, look, that's like going to somebody else's castle, going to their ball, dancing, and leaving. Most of the guests are going to stay there because they're having a good time there. Why would they leave? You need to build something where they come because they have value and they're having a good time with you.
Yes. And the problem with going to someone else's castle also is, they had these mass deletions of profiles during 2020, I think it was. It was actually the best thing that ever happened to me. I got thrown off Facebook. And I realized the social, I forget what it was called. There was a movie out there talking about the addictive qualities. And I actually felt like, oh my God, like, how am I going to do business? But I feel like I'm actually more focused and do better business. But you have to keep that in mind. If they change an algorithm or change something, you could lose your entire audience in a minute if you don't build your own.
Yes. I knew a gentleman who had a YouTube channel. He had so many subscribers. He was really popular. He took his little daughter to a concert and he thought it was so cute. So she was like 5 and she was dancing. He took a video of it. He put it on his YouTube channel. Guess what?
Did they get paid for that? Wow.
Well, it was copyrighted music.
And he had a minor, which they asked, is this for kids?
And poof. Yeah. So in one video, he had broken several rules. He might have not said that there were children in it. I don't remember all the details of it, but I just remember thinking, good to know. Follow the rules. So if you're in somebody else's castle, you must follow the rules and everyone who's in that castle, ask them to join your email list, right? Get them on your email list. So if that disappears, you still have connection. You can still build a relationship with them. You can still serve them. Yeah.
Yes. And I'm going to tell you guys something in case you missed it. I saw that YouTube just now said that if you put AI videos up, you can no longer monetize. So that was something that we did. We're not monetized, so it doesn't matter, but we were actually going to do something with some AI videos. And now I know that I can't do it because it was going to be monetized. So keep that in mind, guys, because everybody's using AI for things. And if you're doing it, they're gonna take you down or take your monetization away.
And you bring up a good point. So I have a YouTube channel and I didn't know that rule.
Oh, did you get in trouble?
So, no, you just told me now.
Oh,
so it's okay. I have not put AI up, but I didn't know that. So I could have this is the point. I could, without knowing I was doing something wrong, I could have put a video up and I could have lost monetization.
Old channel, yeah.
Right? So that's the thing. It's like rules with other people's castle, they can change rules on a whim. They can do whatever they want. They don't even have to tell you because you've signed this. You've signed away that they can change at any time and they can penalize you for that even if you don't know. And so how important it is to stay on top of Facebook rules, Instagram rules, TikTok rules, YouTube rules, all these things. It's like, wow, that's crazy. Better have a platform, have an email list, and make sure all your people are with you and know where to find you in case inadvertently you break a rule and you lose everything.
And you disappear. So back to AI for a moment. I'd love your opinion on some of these AI programs we're seeing for writing, because I talk to editors all the time and they're telling me that some of them are not programmed right. They're seeing major mistakes. There's no personality. What are your thoughts about that as an editor? Are you seeing a lot of it?
So I think for me, it's funny. I have a lot of my authors, if they've used AI for something, they'll come to me and go, am I going to get in trouble?
Well, it's not if you use snippets like to correct something, but if you wrote your whole book with AI, it's not happening.
Yes. So there are rules. There are rules, and if you go on Amazon, for example, it will explain to you. There's AI assisted. There's AI written. There's different levels of. And again, it's that thing about rules, right? So one of my clients is, looking for a publisher. And I think once she used AI to clarify, like the sentence was awkward. And she's like, well, they want to publish me? Are they going to ask me? I'm like, take a breath. Take a breath, right? Like, let's not panic here.
And we may, Melody, we may ask you, because when we upload the books now to, I use Lightning Source, but to Lightning Source, they ask. To Amazon, if I have to load something in there, they ask. So you definitely should disclose to your publisher how much AI. And if you wrote your whole book at AI, you're probably not going to get me to say yes.
No, you're not going to get a publisher. Exactly. You won't get a publisher. But if you had one awkward sentence and you put it into AI and said, help me reframe this, that's not a deal killer, right? That's just not a deal killer. So here's the thing. This is my attitude towards AI. If you've ever used ProWritingAid or Grammarly, you have used AI. They are all AI based. Have they written your book? No. Have they helped you with the grammar, the punctuation, the word choice, the style? ProWritingAid actually now has a manuscript evaluation service.
Nice. So does Plotter. Plotter does as well.
Yeah, an AI-based manuscript evaluation. So if you use these, have you suddenly become non-publishable? No. People have been using ProWritingAid for years, and it's been fine. And just because AI has come on board doesn't mean that suddenly any use of support systems outside of yourself means that you are not publishable. So if I edit your book and I make substantial changes, I'm a developmental editor. If I make substantial changes with you, am I suddenly a co-author? No. Is AI suddenly a co-author if you put your book into ProWritingAid and it gives you a manuscript evaluation and makes good suggestions, which you then go and change, and you are in control of the changes? No. That's how I see it. Now, again, if AI is writing substantial amounts of your book, I think you need to disclose that I don't work with people. And here's the thing, as a developmental editor, I can probably sit down with an author who's used their words and AI, and I can probably go, you, AI, you,
right.
AI.
And I've actually experimented with, I think I experimented with pseudo-write. And, people are writing whole books with pseudo-write. I put in a premise and I didn't like where it went, and I just wanted to see, like, how does this program work? I couldn't get it to go into the actual plot I wanted. It kept suggesting different plots. And so that really frustrated me as well, because I want what I want, I don't want your story, AI. I want my story.
Exactly. I think one of the best quotes I heard about AI was an artist said, I don't want AI to do my art. I want AI to do my dishes so I can do my art.
Right. Love that.
And I think that's the best way to talk about AI. It can do the menial tasks that we don't want to do, so that we can be our expressive selves, so we can be the creatives we want to be. That's how I see AI. If I can put something into AI and it can, so for example, I'm currently building an AI that has my entire knowledge base for manuscript evaluations.
Nice.
And so when that's done, authors who are willing to use AI right? I would never use AI to edit a book without express permission from an author, because there's too much controversy and everyone feels differently. And so it's, I have an author who's finishing up a book, and he's excited to be a guinea pig on this AI that I'm working on. And so that's great. I'll put it in, I'll test it, I'll improve it. But if somebody comes to me and they want me to do a developmental edit, it's not going into AI. I'm doing the developmental edit. If they wanted to go into AI, great, we can do that, because I am building something that is going to support my work and help people, even at a better feedback, right? And so I think that's great. But again, there's huge fights out there. Authors saying to publishing companies, no, don't allow my book to go into AI for AI training. There are lawsuits around this. So I think we do, in the publishing world, we do want to be really thoughtful. I think we want to understand our values. I know my values around AI. If somebody comes to me and they are interested in working with me and they want to know my values, I need to express them and reassure them that I would never use AI with their material without their express permission, because it's too new for us to make decisions for other people. We don't have laws around it. We don't have, we're not set up yet. And so we just need to be thoughtful about it and understand our values and live by our values in every part of our life, and that includes AI. So that's my opinion about AI. I have 4 AIs that I've created, that I've built, that I use either personally or in my work, and they're fabulous. I love them. But I'm not going to hoist that on someone else.
Yes. And the other thing is, people seem to have this perception that AI is flawless. I've actually used AI to write articles, and I look at some of the grammar and I'm like, that doesn't work. So don't assume. I don't think we're actually to the point where anybody could use AI for editing, because it's not, it hasn't been perfected to the point where you can do that. So so tell us, you have something to give away today. We'd love to hear about it.
Thank you. Yes. So talking about do it yourself and do it with, I have a 5-day challenge for anyone who's interested, who would like to do this. Is about book promotion, not book profiting. If you're interested in promoting your book and you'd like a media kit, I have a 5-day challenge that every day you'll get an email. It leads to a page, there's a video, there's a workbook, there are tasks to do. And at the end of the 5 days, or you can take 10 days, it doesn't matter. But at the end of that bit, you will have a media kit, because so many authors don't have media kits. And
I know.
It's like, how do you get on? How do you promote really well without one? I don't know. I think it's really important. So if you don't have a media kit and you want a media kit, go jump there. You'll put the link in the description, I'm sure. And go get your media kit. And I'll tell you this too. Look, if you go sign up for the media kit, and when you're finished, I love when people email me and say, I did this, here it is. I love that. This one thing about email lists, I'm always trying to tell authors, it's not me talking at you. This is actually a back and forth. And so I often say in my emails, let me know what you think. And my favorite people in the world are these authors on my list who get back to me. And then we have these amazing email exchanges, and it's helpful for them. It's helpful for me. So if you download it, do it, and then email it to me. And let's talk about it, because that's going to help you.
Do you know, Melody just gave you guys a great tip, because I do that at the end of some of my emails as well. P.S. Hit the return button and tell me what you think, because we do get them, and I answer all of them in some fashion. So it is a really great way to go. Melanie, I'm going to add something to that media kit. Once upon a time, I had a podcast called Ask Juliet, where I highlighted authors, mostly self-published authors. And the reason I stopped it was I was herding, more like, cats, because people didn't have a media kit when I invited them on the show. So they would piecemeal me. Here's my latest headshot. I have to go write a bio. And I just got so frustrated with it. Now I have a form. I learned from it with this podcast. It's been around for a while, but that's what happens. And podcasters, we all talk. So if somebody's a really good guest and you give us that stuff, we will recommend you if we think you were a good interview to someone else. But if you piecemealed us, you can forget about it. We're not going to tell our friends about you. Even if it's the greatest interview in the world, we're not going to tell our friends because you were so much work. So that sounded really snotty, didn't it?
No, but it's the truth. I just wrapped up year 4 of a interview podcast for authors. And I'll tell you, when it's like I get on with them and I'm like, I still don't have a headshot. I still don't have a bio. I got to the point, it's like, look, if I don't get a headshot or a bio, we're just going to cancel it. I can't do it anymore. I'm too busy. My people, our team, we're too busy. And it sounds rude, but it's not to be rude. It's that you are so kindly bringing me on your show and showcasing what I do and having a wonderful conversation with me. The least I can do is make it easy for you and promote it afterwards. The least I can do is make it easier for you beforehand and really shout it out to my people afterwards. The least I can do.
Yeah. That's very true. So Melody, thank you so much. This has been fantastic. And
thank you.
We'll talk soon.
Yes, thank you so much, Julia.